achieve overall quality. Unfortunately, it has been estimated that more than 70% of the BPR implementations have failed to achieve the expected results due to lack of suitable framework and methodology. Business process improvement is a management exercise in which enterprise leaders use various methodologies to analyze their procedures to identify areas where they can improve accuracy, effectiveness, and or efficiency, and then redesign those processes to realize the improvements. Business process improvement works by identifying the operations or employee skills that could be improved to encourage smoother procedures, more efficient workflow, and overall business growth. This process can also be referred to as functional process improvement. To discuss about various aspects under BPR and BPI in detail, we have eminent speaker with us today, CA Amitav Das from Bhubaneswar. Let us gain thorough knowledge about the topic by the end of this session. With this, I once again welcome you all to this program. Now I request our member, CA Sridhar Andavarapu, to introduce today's speaker, CA Amitav Das.
Thank you, Chairman Garu. CA Amitav Das. He was graduated in Bachelor of Commerce from Utkal University, Odisha in the year 2006. He completed the Chartered Accountancy course from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in November 2012. He is a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certified professional. He started the career as a consultant in internal control and business development for the first 1 year, and then he switched into consulting profile with portfolio of management consulting, business process reengineering, process automation, internal control, compliance and governance, risk assessment and management, project management in ERP solutions. He has done various projects in India, Sri Lanka, Middle East and Far East countries in the areas of manufacturing, trading, distribution, shipping and logistic verticals. In taxation, he is part of process consulting team in implementing GST in India, VAT in UAE, VAT in Saudi, VAT in Oman for various clients for implementing their ERP. He always been highly involved in various programs for implementing new skills like efficiency tracking, performance management, knowledge management, data analytics with new productivity tools, besides leading organizations' strategic initiatives in various areas. With these few words, I introduce CA Amitav Das to the August gathering. Thank you, Chairman Garu, for giving this opportunity to introduce the speaker.
Thank you, Sridhar Garu. Now I request the speaker, CA Amitav Das, to proceed with this session.
Good evening, all. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share my experience with all your esteemed members. So let me share my screen with this. Yeah. Yeah, my screen is visible. Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for confirming. Yeah. So today, good evening all. So we are going to discuss the business transformation. So mostly through business process reengineering versus business process improvement. In this discussion, I will share my practical experience which I did during my last 10 years. So the agenda will cover into 4 parts mostly. Like first is introduction, the framework, and 5W. To know anything, we should ask for 5 questions. Like why? Then what is the opportunity for business transformation through this BPR and versus BPI? And we'll just refer some case study from across the globe. And we'll discuss about what is the opportunity for professional like us. So the business transformation, like if anyone thinks about the business transformation, it likes fundamental changes in how business is conducted in order to help core with shifts in market environment. So when the business transformation comes into mind, the first thing is the business process reengineering. It comes, and some people also use think that the business process improvement. So if you think about the business transformation or business process reengineering, the most important case study it comes to our mind, that is the Ford Motors case study. So let me give a brief like how the Ford Motors, they implemented this business transformation through this business process reengineering, and how they achieved their success. So in 1980, the automobile industry was in a recession across globe, and then the Ford Motors decided to implement, to do the business transformation for their company. So when they did the analysis, they found that in Ford Motors, there are 500 people are working in accounts payable division. Whereas when they compared with the Mazda, that is one of their competitor, so they found only 5 people are working to perform their task. Now here the question comes whether the Ford Motors and the Mazda, whether the size is the same, and the answer is absolutely no. The Ford is far bigger than the size of the Mazda. But if you will compare with the size, then also it found, the Ford Motors found that Ford accounts payable team were 5 times bigger than it should have been. It means if the same accounts payable division will be followed for the Ford Motors with the process of a Mazda, then only 100 people can achieve to do all these activities. So they implemented this BPR and they managed to achieve the 75% reduction in their count. When I'm telling the 75% reduction in their count, it doesn't mean that they removed all the employee. It means they repurpose this 75% of people. And with this only the 25% of people, the Ford Motors able to achieve to do all those activities which was done by 500 people in the accounts payable division. In this way, they got a huge success, in their process. So we'll discuss like what was this scenario. The scenario is before this implementing this BPR, the old payable process, the purchasing department, when they want to buy something, they have to raise a purchase order to the vendor, and so again they have to raise the purchase order manually, and at the same time they have to raise a purchase order, means copy of a purchase order they have to send to the accounts payable team. And when the vendor is supplying the goods, that time he will send the goods to the material control department, and then material control department, like when they will receive, they will create the goods receipt documents, and that document again they will send to the accounts payable team, and the vendor again they will send the invoice copy to the accounts payable team, and then the accounts payable team they will make the payment to the vendor. So here the question comes, when the accounts payable team was doing all these activities to make a single payment to the vendor, they have to cross check, they have to do the reconciliation for all 3 documents, that is the purchase order document, goods receipt document or receipt goods document, and the invoice copy. If everything will match, then only they will able to the process to the payment. So here comes the question, all these activities were not in sync, means that there will be scenario that purchasing department was sending the purchase order to the vendor, but they used to forget to send the purchase order copy to the accounts payable team. Sometimes the vendor will send the goods to the material control department, but material control department will not send the goods receipt document to the accounts payable team on time. And sometimes vendor also will forget to send the invoice to the accounts payable team. So to process a payment, the accounts payable team has to follow up with all the three persons, all the three departments, and by which the process gets delayed. Sometimes if any of the document they will not receive, in that scenario they will not able to process the payment. So by which the inefficiency increased and the number of employee become higher and it reached to 500. So if we will analyze this process, we will able to maybe if you will implement this business process improvement in this scenario, then what people will tell that you can advise to the all the department that whenever, please ensure that whenever you are sending the document, please ensure that you are sending the concern on time. You are sending the document to the department on time. And you can also, maybe another scenario can be, we can advise the accounts payable team that we should follow up with the each department every day, so to receive the document on time. And since if they will follow this all this process also, there may be chances that since this is a manual activities, there will be chances that there will be huge error, since they used to write in handwriting. So there will be possibilities that the quantity or the item, the number of item which they used to place in the purchase order, maybe it will differ from the GRN, or it can differ with the purchase order copy itself, or sometimes it will differ from the invoice copy itself. So by which it will take lots of time to do this reconciliation, and if they find any error, then you have to discuss with the concerned team and to rectify that error, and then only again you do this reconciliation with all these three documents, and if everything is same, then only you can do the process payment. So when they analyzed this process, they found that very major gaps are there. So what they did in 1980, they implemented the ERP. So now if you decide, or if you think that ERP, it's a very easy thing nowadays, but in that during that time it was not easy. So they implemented ERP during that time. So by which what they did, the first thing they did, that all this payable department, the purchasing department, they will do all this entry through this ERP itself. Means when they will raise this purchase order automatically this through this ERP, and that purchase order it will save in the database, and the vendor will send the goods to the receiving document to the receiving department, and the receiving department will just enter the items which they are receiving, this confirmation against the purchase order which is already stored in the database. Now the most important part what Ford Motors did, that they advised to the vendor not to send the invoice. So at the same time, they advised to the accounts payable department that if the GRN and the purchasing order document is matching, you can process the payment automatically. So everything happen through automatically through this ERP system, and the process becomes so fast that within 25% of the people they able to manage the entire process. So we may think that this ERP is easy, but in the 1980 it was huge decision, and it was huge investment for them. And when they removed the 75% of the people, they repurpose so many people, and few of the people who were not able to the repurpose, they have to leave that company during that time. So by which they able to achieve the success. Now take an example here. In India or in any of the city, if you go to any factory, they will see that still people used to follow the manual attendance. Now what will be the problem in the manual attendance? If you go to the factory, during at the gate at the main gate, the security or the person who used to mostly the security, they will keep on a record where you need to update your attendance. And when the employee will go and he will write the attendance, there may be possibilities that override. In which cases the overwriting will happen. Take an example: your office time is 9:30 and you are reaching at 9:30. You are reaching at 9:31. So in this case, human tendency are there. Few people they will override that it is 9:30. Okay, and in this for this the disturbance will happen between the gatekeeper or the attendant, the person who is to who is the controller of that attendance register, and the employee. So because of these disturbances, again the gatekeeper or again this the person who is to maintain this record, he has to send this document to the payroll department. Again, when they will send this document to the payroll department, it will delay. How it will delay? Take an example: you have followed a process that if any employee will come before 9:30 or after 9:30 for 3 days, you have to deduct half day salary. And if it's coming 6 days delay, you have to cut full day salary. In this case, because of this slab, because of this various tariff, the reconciliation by this attendance department will be huge. No, it will be a huge task, and for this it will be delay in submitting the report to the payroll department, and which will lead to delay in salary by the payroll department. Now, if you will implement this business process improvement or the transformation, you can just give a smart card to all the employee, and through which, if they will cross the main gate, the system will automatically capture the attendance, and for which the easy report will be accessible to everyone, including the management and including the employees, and for which there will be no disturbances and there will be peace of mind, and it will lead to on-time payroll. So here I just take another example also. This was done by one Chinese manufacturing company. So when they used to send the materials during that time to US, they have to produce everything in the Shanghai, okay, and they have to send the material to the US. So what they did, since the travel time of in the ship itself, it is huge time, to save that time, they did all this process that they bought all this material, raw material, everything from the respective ports, and they did the process through onboard itself, and by which it helped them to save their timing, and it helped them to save their major capital. Take an example: if they have to produce everything in Shanghai, they have to buy everything at Shanghai itself. So the raw material cost is huge, but if they will do everything through the ship, and whenever they are crossing through the adjacent port, if whenever the layover is there, if they can buy anything, by which it will save the raw material, working capital cost also. So by this they were able to achieve their success. So here I am giving another example of a Domino's Pizza. If you will see, during the year from 2004 to 2012, the Domino's Pizza, if you see the share price, it was very as normal. So if you see from the 2005 to 2007, the Domino's Pizza was doing really good, and if you see, they used to give the dividend also every year. So from 2007 until up to 2010 or 11, during that time there is no progress, there is no growth of Domino's Pizza. So there was no dividend, you can see in the chart. So what they did, the management, the CEO of the Domino's Pizza itself, or the owner, the board of members, everyone decided what went wrong. They analyzed and they took the feedback of all the customers. So during that time, the customer used to shout because of the taste of the Domino's Pizza. So in this 2010 and 11, they put huge effort, like how to make the pizza tastier. So what they did, they invested a huge amount to make the pizza tastier, At the same time, they implemented the proper logistic support, logistic department, where the material will go on time, the raw material, everything will go on time, so that the pizza can be tastier actually. And uh, they didn't reduce their cost to to reduce the raw material cost or raw material quality. Okay, because if the raw material quality will be good, or raw material quality is the better, then only the pizza quality can be better. At the same time, they implemented in across brands. So what they did, they discussed all this problem with all the customer. So, and even that they recorded, and once the process implemented everything, the main chef, he used to go to the customer and he used to deliver, and to get surprised that the same customer who was no unhappy 4 years before, and that customer is very happy. So during that time, this customer itself is put this feedback in the social media, and the Domino's pizza quality was huge, it was very better. And from the 2012, since all this customer were very happy, because 4 years before they used to give a complaint about the Domino's pizza's quality. Now the Domino's pizza's the main chef itself, he has to come to his house, the customer's house, and he used to give this Domino's pizza. So by which the so many unsatisfied customer converted to the satisfied customer in 2011 to 12, and by that all those unsatisfied customer now became the satisfied customer, and they put all this feedback in the social media. And from 2012, the Domino's pizza improved a lot, and now you can see the share price of this Domino's pizza. So it is just a very if you see, this is $400. Now if you see, I'll give another example also. Take an example, you are drinking a soft drink organization. So if the revenue and profit, if it's drastically dropping, then what if anyone wants to implement this business transformation, they may think to lay off a worker. In this way, if you lay off the workers, it will reduce your cost. At the same time, people may think that you can implement this this amount for the equipment, and by which you may think that it will solve your problem. Now, actually, this may or may not solve the problem. So what you supposed to do, you should analyze actually what went wrong and what are things you are going to improve. If you are able to find what is the exact problem, then only you will able to give the exact solution. So if you are not able to find the exact problem, then you will not able to solve the problem. So if you want to ask anyone, they will if any employee or any employer, they will think that to reduce the cost, there are two scenarios. One is the layoff of workers, or the second is investment in the technology. But if you do all these two things also, this will not solve your purpose. So for this business transformation, exact thing is you should do, if you saw all these 4 examples which I gave, you have to find the exact problem, then only you can do the business transformation. So what we understood, that the fundamentally rethinking and radically redesign of the process will help you to do the business transformation. So the business transformation will start from this BPR. This BPR, business process reengineering, it got famous in the year 1990 by the Michael Hammer, from a MIT professor, former MIT professor. He published the article by which it helped like fundamental rethinking and a radical redesign of business process, which helps like achieve dramatic improvements, critical contemporary measures of performance, that is increase in profit, reduce in cost, increase in service, and increase in quality. And at the same time, BPR also involves redesigning of associate systems and organization structure. Now we'll analyze what is this BPR versus BPI. BPR, also known as the business process reengineering, or business process redesign, or business transformation, or business process change management. So people used to get confused, like what is BPI versus BPR. So this BPI is a continual improvement by reiterating the same process. But BPR is a strategy based on your aspiration, which aims to redesign and redesign the process almost from scratch. So for this BPR, you have to follow the radical approach to the current business process. But in BPI, you can do the little improvement in the current business process itself. In the BPR, you have to change the management to clean the fat layers. So what is the fat layers? Actually, in every organization, there are some senior employees will be there, okay? And those employees, even though they used to take the huge salary, they will not add more value. And they will think that they are the pillar of that company. In some cases, even though it is true, in most of the organization, it may not be true. So to implement this BPR, you have to cleanse the fat layers. And BPR aims at changing the way process works, while BPI is tweaking an existing process to optimize it. But the difference is in depth of change. So if you are just improvising the existing process, so that will help you to achieve your short-term goal, and which will help maybe to increase in profit for a few, with a very few percentage. But through this BPR, it will help you to drastically improve in profit, or reduce in cost, or increase in service, or increase in quality. So here BPI or streamlining is done to improve process within the existing organizational structure, while BPR is done to create dramatic improvements to enable the organization. Then BPI is a preventive technique, and BPI also is like a running repairs and maintenance. Since if you want to do the business transformation for any organization, if you are not doing the radical redesign process for implementing this BPR, then it will not help you to achieve your success. So if you see the factor of a BPR versus BPI, if you will compare it, can do the comparison, the degree of change in BPI is incremental. It's very small steps, but through this BPR, it's essentially it's an innovation model. You have to do the radical or extreme degree of changes. The starting point is for BPI, the existing process, you are not going to do major changes, just change a few steps in the existing process. But in BPR, you have to do the clean slate, starting from new. And BPI, it's a continuous process, but BPR is a one time. And the BPI is a bottom up approach, and the BPR is a top down approach. So does it mean that there is no shortcomings of BPR? Absolutely no. There are so many shortcomings of the BPR as well, because if you implement the radical redesign approach, it means to improve any organization, you have to radically redesign the entire process. It means you have to follow like all or nothing. So definitely, if you do the analysis, there are 70% of chances that it will give a negative results, because since it is a huge investment, and people will not agree to do this radically redesign. People will not cope up with this process. So because of that, it will give a very negative results for this BPR. So 70%, if you analyze, 70% of BPR is get failed. So gradual and innovative approaches are usually chosen over BPR. If you are not able to implement the BPR properly, then you will go through this BPI. So some people may follow with this gradual and innovative process. If you are not able to take the risk, then you have to follow the BPI instead of the BPR. Now, what is this? Then we'll able to know the 7 principles of BPR, like organization around outcomes, not task. If you want to implement the BPR, this is the most important point, like organization around outcomes, not task. Take an example, any organization. If anyone comes at, take an example, my office is at from 9 to 4, example. So if anyone comes at 9:30, the HR department of that company used to ask lots of questions, why you came late, no, all those questions. And if the employee used to go before, take an example, office time is 4 o'clock. If he used to go by 3:50, then also the HR department will ask, oh, 10 minutes is there, why are you going? So in most of the company, they used to follow the timing. Means they used to follow the task, means what you did. Now, there may be so many employees are there in each organization, they may sit late. If the office time is 5 o'clock, 9 to 5, they will sit up to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. They wanted, or they want to be on the eyes of the management that yes, I'm sitting late and I'm working so hard, means so much time. At the same time, it may not help the organization to achieve the outcomes. At the same time, if you ask any employee actually what they did or why they are doing, most of the employee will not able to give a solid answer. They will just tell that they did it or they are doing it because this task has been assigned to them to do it. But if you want to achieve the organization success, every employee, every person in the company should know why he is doing, what will impact to the organization, whether this whatever he is doing, it will help to achieve the success of the organization. So this is a very huge culture which we should change it. We should change it like from the outcomes, from the task to the outcomes. Your focus should shift from what we are doing now to what we need to do. Now, if all this employee will be able to know what they are doing, why they are doing, whether that activities or that task which they are doing, it will help you to achieve the mission, the vision of the organization. If all these employees will work in that way, then only the organization will succeed. Otherwise, it will not. However, this is a very cultural problem across the organization. They used to follow the task and not the outcomes. Then have those who use the outcome of the process perform the process. Take an example. If you want to analyze any report, okay, so there are so many departments are there where they used to put more effort to prepare the report itself. And the person who used to prepare the report, they will not able to analyze, they will not able to take the decision, they will not able to know what is the end result by analyzing these reports. So there are two departments mostly. One is the MIS department, another is the decision department. But nowadays, if you follow this BPR, by implementing the tool itself, the report can be prepared automatically and the system itself can tell you what decision can be taken by this report. So it will save a lot. So the next point is integrate information processing work into treat work that produces the information. So if you want to any report in most of the organization, the management will ask the MS person that they needs one report. However, when this MS person will collect this data, they will find that so many data are not there. So again, they have to go to the exact person, again the person who submitted the document, and they will ask these are the information is missing, and then they will compile all those information, they'll prepare the report and they'll submit the report to the management. But to improve your process, what you should do, the management should be very much clear what exactly they want, which type of information they want, from which department, from which employee, from which role. So they should give clear instructions to all the department for all the role, what exactly they need to submit the information while they're submitting the primary document itself. And if you have to integrate in the sense, take an example, you can implement a cloud like OneDrive, nowadays OneDrive is there, or databases is there, where the person who is submitting the document and the person who is preparing the document, everything, it can be accessible through the database itself. So the information captured at the database itself, and the report also can be generated at once, and the decision also can be taken. So you have to give a clear instructions to the end user itself what exactly you need. Then create geographical dispersed resource all through they were centralized. Taken here an example, the capital. The capital is a major block, right? So the working capital management is very much required to for the success of the any organization. Take an example, you are doing one coffee factory, coffee machines, or you are doing a cafe day, or no cafe shop, and if you want to implement Across India, it means if you are implementing, take an example, you are opening the 100 shops, 100 showrooms in each major cities. In that case, if you will give the power to all the cities to buy their own vending machine, own coffee vending machine, then the cost will be huge. So for this, you need to take decision. You need to do the analysis, like cost benefit analysis. If they will buy by individually, what is their cost, and if they will buy at a one time, no, at the centralized level, how it will save a lots of amount for you. So this analysis definitely you should do it. And the second is link parallel activities instead of integrating their results. So here, like as I said in the first point, that every person should know why they're doing, and every person should know whether that activities will help you to achieve the organized success. Take an example, one person is doing some activities which output should be used by one input in the next activities. If the person whatever he is doing as an input process, if will not do the properly, then output will not be good, and the next set of process, it will not be good also. So every person should know what exactly they are doing, and what is their input and what is their output, and who will be using the output. If they will have end-to-end results, then only they can perform better. Otherwise, it will not help. It will not help for the organized success also. Then capture information once and at the source. Like as I mentioned, if you want a report, if the management, top management wants a report from any department, from any user, he should have give clear instruction from the very beginning what information exactly he wants, so that the MIS team or the reporting team or the reporting team can save a lots of time to follow up for all this information. And the person who is preparing the document itself, if you know that what the management wants, those information he can give at the very beginning, then only it will save a lots of time. So all this process actually, if you follow, then only it will help you to achieve the success in BPR. Otherwise, the business transformation will be a myth. So if you see the journey, how the BPR started, it started in 1776 by, if you read the book of The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, he has given one very beautiful note that use separating work areas to increasing the productivity. And again in 1820, the American Railway also they did the business process transformation. And in 1990, Michael Hammer, it got famous because the former Harvard professor, former MIT professor, he published an article in Harvard Business Review. And in 1990, again, Thomas Davenport wrote an article in Slogan Management Review. And in 1993, when one analysis was done, it came to know that 65% of the Fortune 500 companies claim to either have initiated the re-engineering efforts or to have plans to do. Means in 1993, everyone came to know that they have to implement the BPR for the success of the company. If you are not able to implement the BPR or BPI, then it will be huge, huge effort for them to sustain in the market. Then in whatever you will do goods, there will be some critic, right? So in 1995 also the critic started on the BPR of critic of a BPR, and the first of it came in 1995. And in 2000 plus, if you will see, there the debate started that whether BPR or BPI is which is good. And since this agile methodology it came, this agile methodology also people started implementing in BPR. Means it's a combination of BPR and BPI. So that is the agile business process. And if you are able to do this agile business process through this BPR and BPI, then only it will help you to implement the BPR in a very successful way. So we'll discuss like what is 5W and 1S to know this BPR. So this BPR is like who and what, when, where, why, and how. Means who means we should know which company they will do it. So we'll go in details. So you have to define what is the organization. So if you are implementing the BPR in any organization, you should implement, or we should implement in across all departments. Now, when if you analyze the BPR, why it get fails, people used to implement the BPR in any one department. Like as I said, the input of one department will become the output, right? So similarly, for the output of one department will become the input of another department, right? So to achieve the success in the BPR, you have to implement the BPR in across all departments. If there are 4 departments, you have to implement the BPR in all departments. So what is this BPR? We discussed like this is a BPR is a fundamental rethink and radically redesign of business process. So which will increase in profit or reduce cost or increase in service or increase in quality. And when you should implement. Then when in power position. So here I will give some example. Take an example, the Nokia or Reliance Power. So here if you see, I will take first example of Nokia. Before 20 years, I think if anyone comes, when the people used to use this mobile, they used to use the mobile only in Nokia. And no one was thinking that Samsung one day he can take over this Nokia market, mobile market. Everyone is thinking the king of the mobile market is a Nokia. So during that time, if Nokia could have implemented this BPR, they could have read the market properly, then only they could have done a wonderful job to sustain in the market. So don't think that every organization should think that if they are in power position or you are in the top position, if you are not implementing the BPR properly, if maybe you are in top position today, but you may not be in top position tomorrow. So take a similarly, I will give another example of Reliance Power. The Reliance Power, when it was power, like the market was very good for the Reliance Power, but now see the entire Reliance Anil Ambani, the entire group is not in a good shape, and mostly they're in bankruptcy mode. So they supposed to implement the BPR during that time itself. Because they could not implement this BPR, they could not do the business transformation. They are at this phase now. And when facing problem, take an example. Same example of Reliance entire Anil Ambani Reliance group. You can take it. When they face the problem, that time itself they could have done the BPR. And in the brink of bankruptcy, again the same thing like Anil Ambani group. You can take that group example. And in the brink of bankruptcy itself, you have to survive. You have to implement the BPR. So it means when in power position, when facing problem, or in the brink of bankruptcy, means every time you should implement the BPR, or every time you should do your business transformation by using this BPR or BPI to sustain in the market. If you don't think that if you are, or no company should think that if they are in today at the top position, they can be in the top position tomorrow. To be in the top position, you have to think the business in innovative ways, then only you can be in the top position. And where, I like, as I mentioned, you should implement the BPR in across department. Then we'll know why we need to do this BPR. Before knowing why, we should let us know the reason for suboptimal business process. Like one department may be optimized at the expenses of another. Like as I mentioned, if you are not implementing the BPR in all departments, it is like one department be optimized at the expenses of other. Then lack of time to focus on improving the business process, then lack of recognition to the extent of the problem. Now, if you see, most of the organization, or they will not give the recognition to the person who does goods. And because of this also, this used to create a very cultural problem in the across each company, and by which the efficiency of the employee will go down, and which will lead to the inefficiency of the company also. And the next, lack of training. So if you want to success in any organization, you have to give proper training. I think most of the company also, they don't give the proper training to their employee, and because of that also it will reduce the inefficiency of the employee as well as the company. Then overly bureaucratic process, like I give an example, like if you are coming on time, if you know, if you are, whether the employee is coming on time or going on time, the bureaucratic process, right? What you are doing, so many questions they will ask. Like they will ask based on the task, but they will not ask question based on your outcome. If you want to make the success, then you should not be over bureaucratic based on for the task. You should put focus for the outcomes. Then lack of motivation. So why you need to implement this business transformation onto the BPR? That is to reduce cost or improve in quality. And how to implement? So you have to define, like identify and quantify process improvement opportunities, identify benefits for the organization, refocus company values on customer needs, strategy development, identify the necessary changes, preparation, analysis, prioritization, core team of people, then implementation. So what is the factors important for BPR success? The most important is the vision. Now, most of the companies that they don't succeed because of their vision only, lack of vision. Now, if you go to any of your client, if you ask to the client like what is their vision, they will not have their written vision. They will just think something in their in their mind and what is their vision. And if you ask regularly what is their vision, definitely you will find every time they're changing their vision itself. Means in any company, if they're not clear actually what they're going to do, and if their vision is not clear, definitely they cannot achieve the success, because your end goal itself is not clear. So your vision is very much specific. Like here you can follow, like there are so many management methodologies are there. So your vision should be proper. Take an example. I'll just give an example. Elon Musk. Elon Musk, maybe the example is by 2030 they want to build a city in the moon for the where the human from the earth can go and can survive there. So the vision, it should be very specific. By when, what exactly you are going to do? Like by 2030 in the moon, I want to implement a city. Okay. The next is you should do the analysis. The analysis you should do properly. Take an example. If maybe you want to make a huge investment, but actually you don't have capital that much, and you will not able to get a huge investment from the bank or from any investor also, and you are not able to do the analysis properly, what went wrong and what can be go wrong. So you have to do the analysis properly. If your vision is clear, then only you can do the analysis. So the most important part is the vision. The next is the BPR team composition. For the BPR, to implement this BPR, I will in my upcoming slide, I will mention like what are the teams composition required. So which will play a major role. Similarly, the next is adequate in IT infrastructure. Now, if you are implementing a BPR without proper adequate IT infrastructure, then you will not able to achieve the result in a very short span of time. Because if 100 people are doing one activities, if I implement one machine, and if I implement a proper process, that machine may do that activities within very few minutes also. And the next is the effective change management. The most important part why the BPR used to get failed, because of this also, this effective change management. People will not agree to do any changes, to accept any changes. Because of that, the BPR will get failed. So for a success of a BPR, you need to do all this, you need to respect, you need to achieve all these things, then only you will able to gain the success in the BPR. So if you see the BPR life cycle, first is envision, like the vision you should be clear, and you should initiate, diagnose, redesign, analyze, implement, and monitor. So take an example. You have one vision and you initiated that work, and then once you initiate, once you start that work, you just diagnose that work. If you diagnose that work, then only you will able to find whether any gaps are there, but no, then only you can do the redesign of process. Then you need to do the analysis, you need to do the implementation, and then you need to do the continuous monitoring of the entire process. So for the appoint BPR, you need to appoint a BPR team, that is identify process owners. Like as I mentioned, once you put the vision, you need to define the process. So every activities, if there are 4 departments, there like sales or purchase and then accounts, for each department you should write the process through a SOP, standard operating procedure you should follow. So for a successful implementation of BPR, you need to have a process owners. The process owners should have that clarity to define the process, to identify the process through a SOP. It should be very clear. So those persons are very much required, and they can play a major role for the success of the BPR. So those persons can play a role of process owners. And then develop executive improvement team. You need some teams which will help you to do all these activities to implement this BPR. Then provide training to executive team. Since this BPR is a radically redesign of the entire process, there may be chances that you are going to use the new technology, you are going to use the new process. So for this, you need to give a training to your executive team. If your executive team is convinced, then only then they can give the training to the next set of persons, next set of department. So the core skill for the BPR team, what are the skills required? First is the capacity to view the organization as a whole. Like as I mentioned, the BPR team should have the clarity from end to end, the start to end. If they will be able to just focus only for that department or for that role, they will not able to define the process for the BPR. So for the BPR, you should have the start to end clarity. Then ability to focus on end customer, means not only from your company, you should think like if you implement this process, how your customer will get impacted, how the customer will get satisfied, how your supplier also will get satisfied. So you should think from all the stakeholder of that company, starting from your inside the department, inside the organization, the investor, the stakeholder like third party stakeholder like customers or the vendor. The next is ability to challenge fundamental assumption. This is a very important thing, since whatever you did since last so many years, but if you will implement this BPR, you are going to do all those activities in a different way. So many number of people will not able to accept the challenge, this fundamental assumption. So they have to accept for a successful BPR or to achieve the success of the organization, you have to accept the challenges of the fundamental assumptions. You should be ready for the next challenges. Then courage to deliver into unknown areas. Take an example here. During in last century, when all the banking industry they implemented the computer, during that time so many people were having fear that whether since they were doing all these activities through manual activities, when they switched to the computer, they were having the fear, right? So few people were having fear, few people were having the courage, right? So you should have the courage to deliver into an unknown areas. Take an example, I am maintaining all the records in manually, and someone will give me on the database, or someone will give me that some ERP where I need to use, where I need to enter the data. So I should have the courage, like what to learn new technology, to learn new process, to which will help the organization success. The next is ability to assume individual and collective responsibility. Every person should know what exactly they are going to do, why they are doing, and what outcome they are going to give for the success of the organization. And the most important part is the change management. So all these skills are very much required for the BPR core team. So for the success of the BPR, you should value the human asset. Like, BPR is not a recipe for successful business transformation if it focuses on only computer technology and process redesign. In fact, many BPR projects have failed because they didn't recognize the importance of the human element in implementing the BPR. Every organization, they used to think the implementing of new technology or layoff of worker when they used to think for the business transformation. However, your entire business will run, even though the technology will help, this company or the organization will run by the human value only. So you should respect the human value, and by which, if you will implement this BPR, then only you will able to cope with these changes. Then only if you are giving the value to the human or the employees, then only they will accept whatever the process you are going to change the fundamentally. So change is difficult, right? Because there will always be individuals who are happy with the things as they are. So take an example. I gave an example of attendance example, right? My second example was. So there will be three sets of people. First set of people where they used to come on time, always office on time. They used to go on time or after office time. So if you ask that employee that the company is going to implement the smart card, by which the attendance will become automatically. For them, that set of employee will think that if you are going to implement in technology, it will be a huge cost, and this huge cost is not required. Instead of that, you should follow the discipline to all the employee. Because they are disciplined, they will think that all the people should follow, all people should also become the discipline. But in this way, they will not be happy. If you are going to implement this technology also, that set of employee will not be happy. The next set of employee will be like the person who used to come always late. Those persons will have fear that if they will implement this BPR, they will implement this new technology, they will think that the system will give the report automatically, and it will help the management to take the decision, to cheat the organization, by which they will think that there will be fear in their job security. Okay, So if you see the both side, the good people, they will think that this is a very sunk investment. It will not add any value. But the next set of people will think that if you implement the BPR, there will be fear of job security. So it is very difficult to convince the both set of people in a different angle itself, because first set of people are very much disciplined. For them to convince, because they will think that it's a very sunk investment, to convince them itself is very difficult. And the next set of people, they will have, since because they will have fear for their job security, it is a huge task for the BPR team itself to convince them, because if you are not able to convince them, the BPR will not be a success, because employees should employee of the organization should accept this BPR, then only it can be successful. So this change is very much difficult. Whenever we used to go to the implement this BPR, our majority of time will go here itself, how to convince to the people for this change. So the framework, like as I mentioned, the initiate, the negotiate, select, plan, investigate, the redesign, and ensure. The rules is you have to do some benchmark, like whenever you are doing, or whenever you are writing the vision, for your vision should be very much clear. You should fix one benchmark. Okay, if you will be able to fix the benchmark, then only you will be able to write your vision properly. And the next is the collaborate. None of the people can do all those activities, right? Some people is activities, some people are good in the change management, some people are good in the setting up the process, some people are good in the technology, some people are good at any other thing. Okay, so we should work as a team, we should collaborate with each other, with that, then only we will be able to achieve the success by implementing this BPR. The next is the communicate. Since this is a very huge process, like as I mentioned, the change management or change is difficult, we should communicate properly with each stakeholder of the organization before implementing the BPR. When you are forming the BPR, whenever you are writing the process, that time you should communicate properly. Take an example, your vision is clear and you have defined the process, and the process owners are very much clear what exactly the organization needs, and you are going to write the SOP. Okay, whenever you are writing the SOP, if you will not discuss exactly with the end user, you will not able to write the SOP properly. You may write the SOP properly, but in a practical way, it may not be achievable. So you should discuss with all the end user, the key user. If you discuss with the key user, end user, you will be able to create an approach that is bottom up approach. And if you discuss with the management, they will have a clear vision of what they want. So that is called top down approach. So if you have to discuss the both the team, and by this discussing, by communicating with all the stakeholders, you can come into a conclusion by combining the top down approach and the bottom up approach, by which you will be able to write the process properly. So you should communicate with all the stakeholders properly at every stage, and to communicate you should have proper meeting with all the stakeholders very much regularly. So there is a key step is, what is the key steps in BPR pilots? If you are very much confident and if you have experience in implementing the BPR, then you can start the BPR directly. However, to be on the safe side, you can just do a like pilot project for the BPR. So select the process and appoint a BPR team, then study the process, then keep organization aware. You have to communicate properly. So every stakeholder will be able to know what the business is going to do with this business transformation. Then the design the BPR action plan, because This action plan is very much required because of this new technology or new process, or it's a radical fundamental rethinking and a radical redesign of the process itself. Then I rebuild the process and execute and follow the plan. So criteria for the selecting process, like as I mentioned, for the successful BPR, the process owner will play a major role, right? So you should think the bottleneck and delays. Take an example. The bottleneck is some people will think that investment itself is a bottleneck. So, no, you have certain amounts as a target, maybe 1 crore or 100 crore or 1000 crore. So you should, or some people will have some lakhs also. If you like, you are implementing the VPR in a very small small organization, or which is the starting, startup company, they will have very less capital maybe. So in that case, you should think what are the bottlenecks. Bottleneck in the sense, there can be bottleneck in the investment, there can be bottleneck in the knowledge itself. If you don't have the proper knowledge, don't try to implement the, or don't try to form the process by your own knowledge. At the same time, to avoid this bottleneck, you have to, you can take the advice from the experts, by which this expert, you can take the advice from the expert, and which will help you to achieve, which will help to write the process. And then is the cross-functional or cross-organizational units. So you have to discuss with each department in across the organization, by which you will be able to collect the information which will help you to write the process. Then core process that have high impacts. Like as I mentioned, there will be can be three process, like order, sales or purchase, or the your accounts or collection. So you should give the more importance to the core process, then frontline and customer serving, then value adding, new process and service opportunity, and feasibility. The feasibility will, the part will be the most important part for the implementing the BPR. You should not create a vision if it is beyond the feasibility. Take an example, you want to be in here in the India only, and you want to make a process which you have to go to the USA or Europe market or Australia market regularly, but you don't want to go. Example, or you want to implement a tally only. Example, you don't have that much capital to implement SAP, or to implement Microsoft Dynamics Navision, or to implement any in-house ERP. You have capability of tally, but while writing the process, you are writing as a SAP consultant. So you should compare the feasibility. What are the bottlenecks are there? What are the process you should follow? The feasibility will play a major role to define the BPR. So the next is the process. While defining the process, like as I mentioned, the vision should be clear, mission should be clear, scope should be clear, and it should be the boundaries, and the role should be clear. Then you should do the interactions and interfaces. Then set performance matrix, then understand the customer expectations. If you're not clear about the customer expectations, if you're not clear about the vision or the missions, then you will not able to write the process. So as I mentioned, you should have clear vision and mission, by which you will able to implement the top-down approach, and you should have the clear understanding of the customer's expectations, by which you will able to set an approach called bottom-up approach. By combining both of these things, you can able to write the end process. So you have to study the process. While studying the process, you have to check how much cost it will take, how much time it will take, how much value you will get, and what is the workflow. Then you have to check the quality and the time and the cost. If you are not following properly, then you have to do a lots of rework, and because of this, the business transformation or the BPR will become a fail. So again, you have to execute and follow the plan. So that is qualify and certify the process. So once you write the process, you should qualify and certify the process. If you don't have the knowledge, you should take the advice from the expert, and you should certify the process from the process owner or the expert. Then only you can implement the BPR, implement the process. Then the test periodically the process. So maybe there may be chances that while writing the process, you may think that the process is working perfectly fine, but while implementing, you may feel that you have to do so many major changes in the process. So you have to test periodically whether that process is still feasible. So during the implementation, you may come to that, you may come to know that you have to change it, the process itself. So you have, for that you have to test it, right? So test the periodical the process, then identify and eliminate emerging process problems. So during the analysis, if you feel that some problems are there, you can eliminate that problems. Then evaluate the impact on the business, on customers, run periodically benchmarking tests of for the process, train the employees for the maximizing process efficiency. Keep the organization aware. So spread the knowledge in the organization, cultivate the vision for the culture. Since you are going to implement a new process, new technology, everything, so you have to cultivate the new vision, new culture itself. Keep people informed on the developments. Then persuade people that BPR is necessary. Then reassure people by closely managing BPR, indicate necessary actions, assign responsibilities to key personnel. Then the change management. So you have to do the effective change management, because employees are people, not a programmable machines. Because if you are going to implement the BPR in any organization, because of the new process, new technology, they may not able to cope with these changes. So you have to keep motivating them, keep communicating them, then only they will be able to cope with this change management. So what is change management? The first is the people's behavior. The people behavior itself, it will change. The culture, the process, technology, everything will get changed. So for this, every person has to play a major role. For some people needs behavioral training. Some people needs the cultural training. Some people needs the process training. Some people need the training in the technology. So if you are able to give the proper training through the proper communication, then only this change management can be possible. Again, the change management is not possible if you will not motivate them, if you will not give the reward to them, or if you will not give the recognition to them. So for any success, you have, for any changes, you have to keep on motivating them. You should give some reward to the all the stakeholder, and you should give the recognition at the correct time. Then the role of IT. So whenever the BPR comes to mind, then we should think that about IT. Yes, the IT can play a major role, because whenever you are defining any process, the process should be alignment of IT infrastructure and BPR strategy. And then you should have the building an effective IT infrastructure. You should have proper investment decision also. Then measurement of IT infrastructure effectiveness, proper information system, effective re-engineering legacy of IS, IT functions competency, effective use of software tools. Here, most of the companies, they used to fail because they don't know, the organization don't know that what IT, what ERP will help them. They may think that SAP will help, but for their process, Microsoft is good. Sometimes they may think they will implement the Microsoft, but at the same time, the SAP is best for them. So you should define what IT infrastructure you should have. You should take the advice from the IT expertise to implement this IT infrastructure. Because this IT information technology will help to implement the shared database or expert system, telecommunication networks, decision support tools. Like, as I mentioned, whenever the employees is writing anything, you should have to collect the information at the very beginning, right? So for this, shared database will play a major role. And the MIS team, they used to prepare the report, right? So for this, the expert system, you can build it, for which you can prepare the report. The report will be prepared automatically, and the decision also can be taken with the supporting tools. So there are so many ERPs are there which will help to implement this BPR, like SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, or JD Edwards, or Oracle, or Epicor. Because all this ERP, they have done their ERP, they have their product based on the country, based on the location. They have prepared this SAP, prepared this ERP. So which will help to for this BPR. Then action plan, like you should have the modeling and benchmarking, and you should do the risk analysis and SWOT analysis. Then you should do all this QT method, like simulation, impact assessment, lean development, theory of constraints, to for the BPR plan. The risk is risk of failure. People used to, so whenever they used to read about this BPR, they used to think that the BPR, 70% of the BPR is fail, because if you will not able to implement the BPR properly, there may be high chances that this will fail. So what is the risk of failure? That not getting buy-in from the company, not putting the right team together, inability to properly analyze the process. So if you are not able to put the correct right time, right team for each activities, like as I mentioned, for the vision, for the setting of the process owners, for the technology, for the change management, then your BPR will fail. So you should put the proper BPR team. You should define the proper BPR team. Then only it will help you to achieve the BPR success. Risky, but it's worthy. Even though this business transformation is a risky, but it is worthy. Business process reengineering is not an easy task. Unlike business process management or improvement, both of which focus on working with the existing process, BPR means changing the said process fundamentally and radically. So this can be extremely time consuming, expensive, and risky. Unless you manage to carry out each of the steps successfully, your attempts at change might fail. So reference from the top leader. So if you see the Accenture also used to follow this method, like shared vision, assess and align, master plan, design, pilot and implement, then operate. If you see the McKinsey also used to follow the BPR methodology. Their methodology is diagnostic, that define the core process of scope, quantification of performance gaps, diagnosis of existing process, then redesign, that is definition of redesign, vision, redesign of a process in details, pilot test of a new process, then implementation. So I will take some more case study also to know about the BPR. The Bank of India in 1906, they implemented this BPR. Why they implemented this BPR? Because for the faster work, to face competition for secure data transfer, for making banking very easy for retail as well as the corporate customer. And they implement this BPR through the help of the BCG, which is the Boston Consulting Group, and they implemented the ERP from the Finacle of Infosys. And through this BPR, they implemented the tool called Core Banking Solution, and they're able to achieve their results. So which help them operations are carried out fast and customers are happy with the quick service of the bank. And account opening is also was done on the same day. Then if you see the Mahindra, they implemented this BPR in 1994. A BPR exercise started. Now everyone knows that Mahindra is a very successful company, but they implemented this BPR in the year 1994, and the implementation was done by the McKinsey consultant. And they, through this BPR only, they became a leading tractor manufacturer producer in 2005. And through this BPR, what the most important part what they did, that they segregated into the 5 divisions. all their business activities into the segregated into the 5 divisions, that is marketing and customer relations, manufacturing and supply chain, product development, R&D services, performance management, and international operations. So through this BPR, the tractor division undertook a major cost-cutting exercise and brought down the year BEP, that is break-even point, from 54,000 units to 35,000 units. And the net sales for first half of 2004 increased by 28%, and operating profit was up by 34%. So by which, by 2005, the Mahindra became a leading tractor producer. The next example, the next case study is from the ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank was, like Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India. The formerly it was called as. Then why they implemented this BPR? For the success of that company, because for this BPR they took the solutions from the Infosys, that is Finacle, again they took it, and they did a major investment in the IT tool for their network and through lease lines or ISDN or the radio links. And because of this implementation of the BPR, the ICICI Bank merged with the Bank of Rajasthan, like first time private bank merged with the PSU Bank. So Finacle can process lakhs of checks per day and more concurrent users. So again, the critics will be there that if you implement the BPR, there will be layoff of downsizing. But as I mentioned, like inefficiency cost more, or if you not implement the BPR at the correct time, then there will be unhappiness from the stakeholder because you will not able to be on the top of the market. Then there will be revenue leakage, there will be increase in cost, and this will be time consuming. So for us, professional like us, it's a very huge opportunity because all the CS are very good in all the accounts part, taxation part, audit, everything. Since we know our clients better, since all of us, we know our clients better, we can play a major role for their growth. So it is a very huge opportunity because we know their process, we know the statutory angle, everything from starting from GST or income tax or from the accounting perspective or from the finance management, from every angle, and also from the audit angle. So we can play a major role to implement this BPR in a BPR for all of our clients. But we should have the risk appetite, since the failure ratio also is high. But since we have enough knowledge in all the fields, we can collaborate with each other and we can take the risk and we can implement this BPR for our clients, by which we'll be able to give the success to our clients and we can play a major role for the success of our clients. So we should do the analysis, means whenever we are taking the opportunities for this BPR task, we should do the analysis with the SWOT analysis. We should write what are the strengths and what are our weakness and what is the opportunity and what is the threat. And then we should ask the core questions like who are our core customers, what values are we offering them, are the current process delivering the expected results, do the process need to be redefined or redesigned, are the process in sync with our long-term mission and goals, how would we handle the existing process if we are a new company. Then like when is the BPR required, like customer complaints and the refund requests are rising, staff stress, disputes or turnover are high, profitability is falling, sales leads are not being followed up quickly, corporate governance has been lacking, you are struggling with your cash flow, your inventory levels are rising, you can't fill customer orders quickly enough. So if you are seeing, if enough of client that this scenario the client is going through, then there may be chances that the client needs the business transformation process. So with effective plan, we can make it 100%. That is, if you are able to define the vision for the company, if the company has their vision, and if we are able to diagnose it properly, and if we are able to redesign it properly, means once the vision is clear, we should diagnose the process, we should define the process, and we should do the analysis. Then during the analysis also, if anything required, we can redesign the process also, and then we can implement, and then we can monitor. So by which we can play a major role for our client success also. So how to map the BPR team? When we are taking any BPR project, we may feel that we are not expert in all our field. So once you define the process, you map the stakeholder. Some persons may be good at the process, some persons are good at the IT and ERP, some persons are good at the documentation, and some persons are good at the change management. So you define, you map the persons accordingly under this category, and then don't fear to collaborate with industry experts. So why we should follow with the industry expert? Definitely we will not have example. We are dealing with only the trading sector or manufacturing sector, and we don't have knowledge in the pharmaceutical sector. But if I got any project in the pharmaceutical sector, we should collaborate with an industry expert. So we can seek the knowledge from the industry expert through this collaboration for the right process, for the right information, for the right tool, right environment, right training, and the right team. Then we can implement it, review it, and monitor it. So at every point we can seek the knowledge from the industry expert to implement this BPR. Then this value addition through this our business idea, all this process, business transformation, all this process redesign, it can happen through the business idea. I'll just give an example here, how in the Burger King in 2020 January, if you are active in Twitter of Burger King, what they did, they liked the tweet from 2010. Okay, so they continuously give the like to the from the very old tweet of 2010. So many people raised questions that why the Burger King is liking or commenting on the 10 years before tweet. So everyone started writing, everyone started putting comment on section why Burger King. So people started publishing an article, the YouTubers started creation of videos on that. So many people started putting questions. So there will be thousands of lakhs of questions it started on the Burger King, why the Burger King is liking or commenting on the 10 years before tweet. Then Burger King came into an idea that there was an item which they were doing in 10 years before, that is 2010. They wanted to bring that item again in 2020. So through this methodology, through this innovation of new idea in the marketing strategy, they brought back that product, and with a single tweet, it helped them for a innovation or for the relaunching of the old product. So you should have the business idea. Means if you have the business idea, you can add more value, and through this business idea, you will able to help to the organization, to help your client to further increase in revenue or reduction is cost, and increase in quality or increase in service. So for this, to set up an IT, that is ERP should through this BPR you can implement the CRP. Through this BPR you can implement this the advanced tool of a machinery tool or anything, and then we should follow the industry guidelines. I think we all are good at for the industry guidelines also. So BPR team setup, we should have the competency, motivation, credibility, and creativity. We should think the complementary skills, adequate size, and interchangeable accountability. then we should take the team empowerment training and team leadership, clarity of work approach, specificity of goal. Then change management. So for this change management, you share the vision, give the reward, recognition and training. And through this, you can successfully implement this BPR. So if you can add more value, that is improving profit and reduction cost, increasing productivity and customer happiness, then definitely you can get a major revenue from this service. So give more value and the customer also will give the money, proper money. So by which this business transformation, we can add more value through this BPR. We should try to give our 100% effort to achieve the required results for the client. So if you are able to follow the agile methodology of a BPR versus BPI, that continuous process, then definitely the business will grow, and once the business will grow, the money will flow to us also. So we discussed actually history and evaluation, the factors important to BPR success, the life cycle framework and rules, resource and team core skills, change management risk, role of IT or ERP, action plan, critic. We discussed about a reference from top MNCs. We discussed the case study from M&M, my ICICI Bank, Bank of India, Ford Motors. Then how BPR helped them to achieve their vision and to be in top. Then opportunity for professionals in BPR. So herewith I completed my presentation. So if any questions you have, we can discuss.
Members, you can unmute yourself and you can pose your questions to the speaker. Any questions, members? Sir, it seems there are no questions from members, so your deliberations have cleared all the doubts in the minds of members attended now. So thank you very much for accepting our request and addressing our members. Sir, Visakhapatnam branch is very much thankful to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So now I request our secretary Prashant Kumar to propose vote of thanks.
Respected Chairman C.S. Murali Krishna Garu, learned speaker C.A. Amit Das, seminar, senior members and other dignitaries, good evening to all. I am privileged to propose vote of thanks in session on my own behalf and behalf of the members of the Visakhapatnam branch. Sir, I convey my sincere thanks for accepting our invitation and share your knowledge with us in spite of your busy schedule. Sir, as you correctly said, business process reengineering is very much essential for the success of the organization. In this pandemic, the BPR is the apt topic for all, whether they are in business or in the profession. With a special focus on the effect, change management, human asset, principles of BPR, WH concepts like who, why, what, when BPR are exhaustively covered and extremely well, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful deliberations. Thank you very much, sir. Members, on the 10th July Saturday, we have a session on valuation standards by the valuation committee, and speaker is C. Parag Kulkarni. I request all the members join and got benefited out of this seminar. I also extend my thanks to all the participants of this webinar. I also convey my thanks to Chairman for conducting such a wonderful sessions for the benefit of the Visakhapatnam branch members. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
a lot.
Thank you, sir.